Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving deep into a really powerful ancient idea. It's this belief that the universe isn't just random chaos, but that it actually operates on a kind of built-in cosmic justice, a system where every single action has a perfectly tailored reaction. So, let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? That little sense that what goes around really does come around. Maybe you hold a door for someone, and later that day, a stranger does the same for you. Or you snap at a coworker, and the rest of your day just feels off. It feels like our actions send out these echoes. But what if that's more than just a feeling? What if it's a fundamental law of how the universe is wired?
So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with that big question. What goes around comes around. Then we'll define the core principle of measure for measure. We'll see how it acts like a human mirror in our own lives, and then zoom out to see it as a cosmic law. We'll even look at some incredible modern stories before finally bringing it all back to you and what it means for your life. Okay, let's start with that central question. Is there some kind of built-in fairness to the fabric of reality? Well, countless ancient wisdom traditions believed the answer was a resounding yes, and they actually developed a really specific framework to explain how it all works. And that brings us right to the core concept itself, an idea known simply as measure for measure. Honestly, it's an idea that people have been studying for thousands of years as a key to understanding how the world really operates. In Hebrew, the principle is called midah k'neged midah. It literally translates to measure for measure. And the idea is both incredibly simple and, well, totally profound. It says that the universe responds to us in kind. The consequences we experience in our lives, they're not just random. They are a precise, almost tailor-made reflection of the energy we ourselves put out into the world. And listen, this is not some new age idea. This concept is ancient. This quote comes from the Mishnah, a foundational Jewish text put together way back around 200 CE. It shows you just how deep these roots go. The idea is simple. The way you measure out your behavior to other people is the exact same measuring stick the world is going to use on you. Now, what's so fascinating is that this principle isn't just about some distant cosmic force. It plays out on a deeply personal level, right here in our day-to-day lives. The ancients saw it as a kind of human mirror, constantly showing us a reflection of ourselves. The Book of Proverbs gives us this absolutely beautiful analogy. Think about it. When you look into water, it shows you your own reflection. If you smile, it smiles back. If you frown, it frowns back. The idea here is that a person's heart works in the exact same way. It often just reflects what you show it. So, the energy we project tends to be the energy we get back. The ancient texts are super direct about this. If you are pleasant and kind to your kids, you can probably expect that pleasantness to be reflected back at you. But if you show animosity to a friend, well, don't be surprised when you feel that coming back your way. It's like a direct interpersonal feedback loop. But this principle isn't just about our one-on-one interactions. The ancient sources saw this thing operating on a much, much bigger scale, as a universal law of cosmic justice. This is where we get into the idea of a universe of consequences. And in these ancient stories, you can see how the consequence often fits the action with just stunning precision. The Egyptians planned to destroy the Israelites with water, and in the end, they themselves were defeated by water. Samson was led into sin by his eyes, and his punishment was losing his sight. Absalom was incredibly vain about his long hair, and that very same hair became the instrument of his downfall. But, and this is so important, it works for good too. When Miriam waited for her baby brother Moses for just 1 hour, she was rewarded by having the entire nation wait 7 days for her. This shows a really vital part of the principle. The measure for good is often way, way bigger than the measure for bad. Okay, I know, those are powerful, but they're ancient stories. Does this principle still resonate today? Well, let's look at some modern-day echoes. These are true stories that suggest this cosmic feedback loop might be just as active today as it ever was. So first up, the story of a lifelong thief. Imagine, this guy builds a huge fortune by stealing from other people, and he hides it all away. Then, one day, he goes to check on his stash and finds that it's all gone. It had been stolen from him. It was the perfect reflection of his entire life's work. The shock was so profound that it led him to completely change his life, and he ended up dedicating himself to giving back everything he could. Next, there's a story about a soldier. He takes some time out of his day to visit and pay his respects at the graves of 2 revered holy men. Later that night, he's alone,
He's tired, and a car stops to offer him a ride. He gets a really bad feeling about it. And at that exact moment, 2 photos of the very same men he had just honored fall right out of his uniform. He took it as a sign, refused the ride, and later found out he had just escaped a kidnapping attempt. His act of honor was returned with an act of protection.
And finally, this incredible story of a couple who had been childless for 18 years. A wise rabbi told them, if you will measure out your love and provide a home for this specific infant girl who needs one, you will be measured back with a child of your own. They agreed. They adopted the little girl, and shortly after nearly 2 decades of waiting, the wife became pregnant. By creating a family for a child, their own family grew. So, from ancient texts to these modern stories, what does this all really mean? Let's bring this whole principle home and talk about your reflection, what this framework could mean for your own life. The first thing to get is that this is not a passive idea about fate or destiny. It's actually the exact opposite. It's an incredibly empowering framework that suggests we are the architects of our own experience. Our choices, our behaviors, our attitudes, they all create these ripples that eventually always come back to us. So here's the bottom line. The principle of midah keneged midah suggests that maybe the universe isn't so chaotic after all, that it has a kind of moral logic to it. Our actions, both the good and the bad, are literally the building blocks for the world we experience. The consequences we face aren't random. They are reflections. They are mirrors, showing us exactly what we've been putting out there, which, if you think about it, makes this an incredibly powerful tool for self-reflection. And that really brings us to our final question for you to think about. If your life is a mirror, perfectly reflecting back to you exactly what you show it, what will you choose to show it today?